In the passage that we have for this Sunday, a man comes to Jesus asking him to divide his father's inheritance with him and his brother. We do not know much about this man's situation, although commentators suggest that it is likely to be the younger brother asking the eldest for a greater share than he is entitled to under the law. Jesus' response is a warning against those who would place material wealth and possessions higher than the love of God and neighbour. It is a reminder that a secure life is built on the promises of God and not our possessions. In the parable that Jesus shares, the wealthy landowner decides to hoard his grain rather than to sell or share it. His motivation for this is so that he can have an extravagant life, knowing that by keeping back this grain, he is able to inflate the market price. However, the wealthy man has his life demanded on him that night, and his store of treasure cannot purchase God's favour. Jesus seeks to remind his listeners that greed and selfishness, particularly when it comes to material wealth and possessions, is foolishness, as it puts us in opposition to God, who in his generosity in turn encourages us to be generous with what he has entrusted us with. This Sunday, we say goodbye to Reverend Romeo Pedro, our friend and superintendent minister. Romeo's ministry amongst us has been characterised by a prophetic call for us to love God and neighbour, and in particular, the poor and the vulnerable. As we move forward as Northampton Methodist Church, we must hold on what we are called to do and be as Christ's disciples, to share the love of God, the good news of Jesus Christ, in word and in action. And this will involve generosity and compassion for the least, and preparedness to challenge injustice. So let us ask ourselves this Sunday, how can we share what we have and act generously in the eyes of God? And how can we follow the example of Jesus in his ministry of feeding, healing, and empowerment?